Good morning. Welcome to Sierra Center for Spiritual Living. So I'm flying solo this morning with the technology, and so you will see a few blank screens while I step away to move it to our next scene. But I want to welcome everybody who's joining us on Facebook and Zoom and YouTube. And let's get started with our first two community songs. So lift your voices, let your neighbors hear just how joyful you are this morning. Here we go. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So I want to welcome everybody who joined us while we were singing. Welcome on Facebook, welcome on Zoom, and welcome on YouTube. My name is Reverend Rafe Ellis, and I am honored to be the senior minister here at Sierra Center for Spiritual Living. I want to welcome you if you are joining us for the first time, and I want to remind us of who we are while I tell you who we are. We are a radically inclusive, spiritually progressive, supportive community that celebrates the very diversity of creation. We strive to live authentic spiritual lives through a practical application of the teachings of science of mind. We engage in sacred practices that uplift our spirit, deepen our awareness, and ignite our soul's self-expression. We demonstrate active compassion to ourselves, to one another, and the world. And we experience meaningful contribution through giving generously of our time, talents, and treasures. And we, on purpose, shamelessly promote our community and our teachings. And one of the ways that you can help us do that is if you're on any social media platform, you can grab that little share button, share this live stream to your personal Facebook or Twitter or Instagram feed or any number of them. I can't keep up. And that just expands the availability of these teachings to anyone who chooses to avail themselves of it. So one of the things that we do every Sunday morning is our candle lighting ritual. And we light these candles to celebrate the unity of all people, all faiths, all beings, all life. We light the first candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the ways of primal spirituality. We light the second candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the third candle for Taoism, honoring the path of ultimate reality, the natural way. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the middle way and path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the teachings of Jesus as the path of love, forgiveness, and healing by the presence within. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle for all forms of New Thought teachings, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles of love and law. We light this 10th candle for absolute inclusivity, affirming that all are welcome and celebrated here. And we light this final candle, honoring the infinity of oneness as all creation, seen and unseen. So now it's time to sing again. So I invite you to lift your voices. The good part about this virtual thing is you can sing as loud as you want and bother no one. So see if you can bother your neighbors. Here we go. Indeed, love is why we're here. So this morning I'm going to do the announcements a little bit different. Rather than having me as the picture in picture, it's just going to be a broader slide so that you can see the information a little better and you'll hear me in the background. Okay, here we go. So we're in the midst of our Sierra Center for Spiritual Living annual pledge drive. And this is an opportunity for you to make your intentional pledge for your giving to the center for the next year, for 2021. Normally we would get these out in October. We're a little late this year with COVID, so they went out on November 12th. If you did not receive a letter, please get in touch with me via email, Rafe@sierracenter.org, and I'll get one right out to you. We are asking that folks send those back, that you make your intentional giving commitment to the center for the year 2021. This allows us to prepare our budget and keep the center fiscally solvent and know that you are appreciated. So thank you for responding to that. I want to remind everybody of our Actualizing Wholeness discussion group. We meet on Tuesdays from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, and this is being offered on a love offering basis. So the links in the newsletter are live links, which will take you right to the site where you can give a love donation, and then the link to the Zoom room will be sent to you. You can also access this via our website. Go across the top to the community tab and then down to classes and over to discussion group, and that will get you there as well. And if you're having trouble navigating that, shoot me an email or give me a shout and I will hook you up. Okay. Another of our ongoing offerings online is a daily morning meditation and prayer time. This is offered Monday through Saturday from 8 to 8:30 a.m. Pacific Time. They are 20-minute meditations followed by a prayer. Monday morning, Reverend Sarah Nichols does the meditation, and then I do them Tuesday through Saturday. If you are new to meditation or even a seasoned meditator, I invite you to join us for this time together. They are live streamed in all of the same locations that our Sunday service is, on Facebook, Zoom, and YouTube. In the newsletter, the link has all of the connection sites. With the Facebook and the YouTube, it's always the same connection site. With Zoom, it's a different link, and that link is available in the newsletter. It is available on the calendar on the website. So check that out, and I hope you'll choose to join me. I got our tree put up on Saturday, and as you can see, it has lights but no other decorations. And there's a reason for that. Because this year we are having a Sierra Center for Spiritual Living giving tree. If you remember back to our annual meeting at the beginning of the year, we made a community commitment to operate this year within our fiscal budget. And the board has done an amazing job making cuts to keep us as close to a balanced budget as we can possibly be. And in all honesty, we're running a little bit short this year. Primarily, that is because we don't have the offerings from Sunday morning. We have those of you that have made annual commitments and are keeping those, are keeping us afloat, and that is so appreciated. And there is a gap because typically on Sunday morning we have quite a few folks that give when the offering basket is passed around who are not part of our regular pledge program. And so we're missing those donations this year. And so this is an opportunity. If you have some additional discretionary income here at the end of the year, I am inviting you to send a additional gift. Now, this is a gift in addition to your annual giving,
and send it in a card, and I will hang the cards on the Christmas tree. I have written a number on an envelope and sealed it, and we'll put that at the top of the tree, and I'm not telling another living soul what that number is, not even Deborah. And just like Dr. Holmes taught, that he would rather see someone experiment and prove these principles than to study and teach. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We are going to put these principles to work, and we are going to prove them by demonstrating a balanced budget at the end of this year. So there's a couple of ways that you can give. One is to send it by snail mail. And if you would, address the envelope to Sierra CSL Giving Tree, P.O. Box 2714, Grass Valley, California, 95945. Another way that you can give is online through our website, which is now secure. And so that is https://www.sierracenter.org. And if you'll scan across the top, you'll see the donate page. Just click on that. It'll take you right to how you can donate online with your credit or debit card. If you would, please use the write a note option to let us know that that particular gift is for the Sierra CSL Giving Tree, so we can get that counted in the right place. And you can always, you can always reach out by phone. You can reach out to me personally by email. I had somebody the other day connect with me for their pledge drive commitment through Facebook Messenger. So I am open. You can text me, you can tweet me, you can Facebook me, whatever way works for you, and we'll connect and make this happen. And our final announcement this morning is to let you know to mark your calendar, because yes, we will have a Christmas Eve candle lighting service Thursday, December 24th at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I honestly am still working out the logistics of that. It will be online only, but just know that there will be candle lighting, and there will be some way for you to communicate that you want a candle lit as part of that service in your name. And so I'll be working out the details of that over the next week, and we'll have more information for you on that next Sunday.
All right. So I apologize. I don't know what happened to the camera during that little spot, but the important part is the giving tree part. And so later on this morning, I will write that number down and put it on top of this tree over here. So this is our time of inward shift. And so I invite you to minimize the distractions in your immediate area and just allow yourself to go within. If you happen to be listening to this live feed while you're driving, please do not meditate, not truly meditate. Contemplate, yes, but please stay focused on your driving. It's always good to say that, because I have heard that some folks are listening to this while they're traveling. So this is not the time to meditate. All right, so I'm going to go through the meditation, and then Reverend Madeline Wade will lead us. We'll do our opening prayer, and then she will lead us in our affirmation. Here we go.
As you drift more deeply inward, invite your inner self to contemplate these words. No one can rob me of the freedom to choose my next thought. While I don't always have the ability to change or control other people and events, I can choose to change my thoughts and perceptions about people and events. In this powerful way, I am in charge of my life experience in every holy moment.
Good morning. As we gently bring ourselves back, I open up to the universe, to the infinite, to the source of all the love and the light and the creativity. I feel that electricity going in and through my body as I am truly one with the divine spirit. Settle, energize, all at the same time. So I know and accept that these words, these thoughts, these knowings go right into that law, that productive creative process. So I know and accept that all is well despite appearances, that there is a higher ground that I claim for each and every one of us, one of health, perfect expression of vitality and energy. And I know and accept that we breathe with deep cleansing breaths. And I also know and accept that we are all prosperous and well, that we attract perfect expressions of supply and plenty. And I also know and accept that our deep connections with the one, with each other, are nurturing, growing, and just so loving. And I know and accept that our creativity and our work in the world is blessed on all levels. And I know and accept there's divine guidance in each and every one of us as we express our God Spirit in this beautiful world. And I know and accept divine wisdom for all of our leaders, for everyone in a situation of decision making, that there is clarity and that there is a decision for the health and well-being of all people in this entire world, in this entire universe. So I'm so grateful for each and every one of you, for all of us here on this spiritual journey, this beautiful path together. And I know and accept that each and every step we take is made with love and light. So these words, these knowings, are already so and complete in mind. They're in the law, they're in action. The manifestation has begun, and it shows up. And so with gratitude, grace, conviction, love, and a deep inner knowing that it is done, I say, and so it is. So now it's our time for doing our beautiful affirmation. What I'd like to do is I will read it first, and then if you would join me as we read it a second time. So listen truly with your heart in this moment. You may want to close your eyes. My heart and my body are open to goodness. I know that there is nothing that separates me from the river of life. It flows through me as I give and I receive. You might open your eyes and let's do it together. My body and heart are open to goodness. I know that there is nothing that separates me from the river of life. It flows through me as I give and I receive. And so it is.
My friends all gathered round. Something I would say, that what brings us together here has blessed us all today. A blessed big circle that holds us all inside. Where strangers are as family and loneliness can't hide. Give yourself
wind. Been up before the sunrise to watch the day begin. I always knew I'd find you, though I never did know how. Like sunshine on a cloudy day, stand before me now. So give yourself to love, it's always what you're after. Open up your hearts to tears and laughter, and give yourself to love. Give yourself to love.
Love is born of fire.
It's planted like a seed,
Love can give you everything.
but it gives you what you need.
Comes when you are ready.
Love comes when you're afraid. It'll be your greatest teacher,
The best friend
you have made. So give yourself to love, if love is what you're after. Open up your hearts to the tears and laughter, and give yourself to love. Give yourself to love. Give yourself to love. Love is what you're after. Open up your hearts to the tears and laughter, and give yourself to love. Give yourself to love.
Good morning. Let's take a breath together. So this morning we're wrapping up our month-long being compassionate conduits of compassion. And this morning we are looking at being a grateful and cheerful receiver. And all too often, we tend to think in terms of being a grateful and cheerful giver. And that's great. Make no mistake, giving is part of the circulation. But if all we do is give, well, then we're not really participating in the law of circulation. One of the greatest lessons that I have ever gotten in this circulation process came to me by one of my teachers when I was in practitioner studies, Reverend Maggie Buck, who's now just down the road in Auburn. And she walked into class, it was financial freedom. And Reverend Maggie walked into class and she greeted us and then she said, okay, everybody who considers themselves a giver, exhale. And everybody who considers themselves a receiver, inhale. Stay right there. And then she walked out of the room. It just left us there. Now, at some point, whichever direction you went, if you inhaled, at some point, you have to exhale. And if you exhaled, at some point, you have to inhale. And it was a very simple lesson. It anchored deeply in my being, this idea of circulation. And even here on planet Earth, scientifically, there is this reciprocity of breath, this circulation of breath. We breathe in oxygen, we breathe out carbon dioxide. The plants breathe in the carbon dioxide and breathe out the oxygen. It is a life-sustaining cycle of circulation. And when that cycle gets interrupted, somebody's going to be in trouble. Somebody's not going to get what they need to sustain life. And our giving and receiving is very much this same process. And I think sometimes we get stuck in the stuff of giving. And if we go even underneath that, particularly this time of year, many of us are confused about our worth and our value. And we think it's equated by the stuff that we give or the stuff that we get. I'll share a bit of my childhood with you. Christmas time was not a fun time at the Ellis household for many reasons, but not the least of which we were year after year. They took that Santa thing a little too far with be good for goodness sake. And so Christmas would happen and gifts would be opened, and then when the final gift was open, this very bizarre exercise happened where the receipts for all of the gifts came out. And each child was told how much was spent on them and why. And if you were the low person on the totem pole, it wasn't why they spent so much on you, it's why they spent so little on you. And every wrong that you had done throughout your childhood for the past year. It was incredibly painful, and for a long time, really messed up Christmas for us. We can heal from all of that silliness. And today I call it silliness because when I really step back and look at that, that's just silly. It's like, what part of the brain does that even come from? And it comes from our social conditioning that tells us our value is measured in stuff. That our value is measured by the almighty dollar. And that's never true. Do you know that you arrived as perfect as you're ever going to be? That you literally arrived on planet Earth as complete as you are ever going to be. And you cannot give yourself into a better life. You can't give enough to make yourself better than perfect. Now, no, I'm not saying your behavior has always been perfect. I'm saying the essence of you. We are made out of perfection, so we must be perfection. Just like an ice cube is made out of water, it's still water. Okay? So your perfection is not now, nor has it ever been, nor will it ever be, based on how much you give to anybody or anything. So if you are in that loop, let that go. There ain't a word of truth in it. Okay? You are an amazing, one-of-a-kind, intentional, purposeful idea in the heart of God made manifest in form. That's who you really are. And when we begin to know that and embrace that, there is a vulnerability that happens at the human level. There's a vulnerability with the ego. Because for some reason, bless our ego, bless it, because we wouldn't be here without it. But it is threatened by a depth of feeling that takes us beyond the human realm. Because the ego's whole job is to keep us anchored in the human realm. And so when we begin to really dive deep into the vulnerability of a deep spiritual practice and knowing, your ego might freak out just a little bit. That's okay. All that tells you is that your ego is doing its job. Now, I know that there are camps, groups, thoughts in the New Thought movement of eliminating our ego, squashing our ego. I don't understand them. I think that without my ego, I'm not here in form. So I choose to teach, love your ego. Love it. Understand it. Make friends with it and give it a job. See, our ego is happy when it's busy doing something earth-based. So give it a job. Whatever it is, whether it's read the newspaper, whether it's look out the window, just keep giving it jobs while you focus your attention and intention in the truth of your spiritual being. It's like a dance, if you will. And sometimes on the dance floor, life changes the music. So you have to change the dance. And sometimes there's that back and forth of who's leading. And sometimes we fall asleep, especially this time of year. We tend to fall asleep and fall back into those old thoughts and those old patterns of not enoughness, of our sense of lack. We look at our bank account. We want to give more than we can give. Sometimes we run up charge cards and we actually do give more than we should give. And I invite you this morning to really take an honest look at what's motivating your giving. And if it's coming from a sense of lack, well, there's a solution to that. Open up to receiving. Open up to receiving the impress of God within you, of Spirit within you. Those little divine nudges. And sometimes they come as divine discontent. But those little voices within that give you an idea that maybe doesn't make any sense to you in the moment. Those little moments of be still and know. And so, if you're in your process and you feel yourself getting anxious, I encourage you to just take a moment to breathe, to go within, and to simply ask, what is here for me to receive? What infinite nugget of knowledge, of wisdom, of love is here for me to receive? And then look, listen, and feel. Because it may show up in ways that make no sense. It may show up on a billboard while you're driving down the highway. It may show up as a song on the radio station. But you will know when it shows up because it will resonate with that question that you've asked. What is here for me to receive? I invite you to really make sure that your giving is actual giving. No strings attached giving. That you're not actually setting up a trade or a bargain. Because if we're doing that, we're actually not giving. Giving is the act of giving with no expectation, with no strings attached. And so I invite you to practice a level of faith that knows that receiving is an automatic part of giving. That you don't need to think about that. You don't need to control that. You don't need to contrive that. You don't need to manipulate that. You just need to know that receiving is part of this earth game. And allow yourself to receive. And that might even happen by stopping your giving. If you are giving to get, just stop. Stop. Because what you're actually doing is putting lack consciousness in motion, and you're blocking the channel where your good is trying to come to you. We have to get right consciously. We have to. You have to know that you are absolutely worthy. You have to know that everything you need is already fully present. I was having a conversation with a colleague earlier this month about this idea of manifestation, and that really we don't manifest anything. We just finally get our vision clear enough to see what is already here. And now that's a lot to wrap our little human brain around, but in infinite possibility, it must already exist. And so, can we get our vision clear enough to know what already is, to see what already is, to feel what already is, to receive your birthright that already is? And finally, are you willing to create a welcoming space for the giving? Sometimes, and I will say, I am in probably the president of the collect crap that I'm going to use later club. I have boxes of stuff that someday I might need that. Now, in actuality, here in the earth plane, being a bona fide hillbilly that will absolutely fix things with bubble gum and baling wire and duct tape, those things actually do, on occasion, come in handy. But if I'm really telling the truth, I have a lot more of that stuff than I am ever going to use. Now, I know if Deborah's watching this talk right now, I have an amen corner. Because nothing would thrill her more than to see me get rid of 80 to 90% of all that stuff. And I'm working my way into that. But we have to make space to receive. If our lives are so cluttered that there's no open space, where is our good going to come into? It's kind of like a hose, and the hose is designed for 20 pounds of pressure, and the faucet it's connected to is putting out 120 pounds of pressure. It's not going to go well. Okay? And so we have to start mentally creating a field of openness that welcomes what our good is. And then we have to move that into our emotional life and then into our physical life to literally create space, to create openness for the flow of good to come through. And so I invite you, know your worth. Stop giving to get Make space to receive. And watch how your abundance changes. Your abundance in every area. Watch how it changes. Let's take this into prayer. Infinite One, perfect peace, absolute abundance, infinite possibility. I recognize this one substance as the singular source of all creation, giving itself and receiving itself as its creation. I know that I am a center of that giving and receiving, that I am the very divine in form, and that I am receiving and giving of the I amness, of the substance of which I am made, of the infinite intelligence that flows through me, the breath of life that breathes me, the one mind that imagines itself into expansion, into newness. And what is true of me must be true of all. In the truth of oneness, all, each exquisitely individualized expression, a divine center of this giving and receiving law of circulation. And so I speak my word, claiming and affirming that the gates of resistance are thrown wide open, and the flow, the infinite free flow of love, of peace, of intelligence, of abundance is rushing through every open channel. Giving and receiving, sustaining itself in this perfect cycle of equilibrium from the law of circulation. That surrender and engagement, that giving and receiving, inhaling and exhaling, speaking and listening, all in perfect harmony with the one self. So grateful. So grateful to feel that faith of gratitude, that knowing that is so certain that it just rins from the heart out. Grateful, grateful, grateful to know that the word spoken is the word fulfilled. And so I can let go. I can let it be. And so I do. As I anchor this word of the infinite by saying, Amen, Shalom, Aho, Ashe. And so it is. Namaste. Let's take another breath together while we change gears here. So we're going to do our giving affirmation here in just a minute. But for the moment, I finally got a number while I was doing our closing prayer. So I am going to write this number down on this card for the giving tree. And I am putting this number in this envelope. Whoop. And I'm smacking the microphone with the envelope. All right, there it is, all sealed up. Giving tree. And it's going on the top of the tree. So I'll be right back as soon as I get our giving affirmation slide up. All right. So this is our time of intentional giving. And there are multiple ways that you can give. You can go onto our website, https://www.sierracenter.org. Go across the top, click on donate, and it will give you all the information that you need. You are also welcome to mail your contribution to Sierra Center for Spiritual Living, P.O. Box 2714, Grass Valley, California, 95945. All right, let's say our intentional giving affirmation together, shall we? I give this gift with love and joy from a consciousness of abundance. Divine love blesses and prospers all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Hold that thought. I'll be right back. Okay. All right. So before I get to our reminders, here we go. All right. Our giving tree has been established. And so a couple of reminders. We are doing the giving tree to play with the teachings of science of mind and prove them in our experience. And so when you send your gift for the giving tree, please make sure you indicate that on the envelope or on your online contribution. Also, if you are in need or desiring prayer, we are here for you. On our website, you can access the practitioner information and reach out. You can send me an email. You can send them an email. All that information is there and available. You do not have to go through anything alone. We are here with you. We are here to support you. So reach out and let's connect. Okay. I think that's the biggest of the reminders. The next 2 weeks, we got some guest speakers coming up, and I am delighted to be sharing the pulpit with Reverend Madeline and Reverend Lanny while I take some much needed time off to rake leaves and pull weeds and stare into space. All right, so we're going to do our closing song. Let's get together. All right. Namaste. I love you.
One, two, three, four.